Hey guys, Shane here. Before we get started today, I want to ask you a quick favor. Please hit that subscribe button and give this podcast episode a share on social media so that we can help more families start, build, and grow a membership of their own. We appreciate that so much. Thank you for listening today. And now on to the podcast.
Hey y'all, on today's podcast, Elaine is a certified life and weight loss coach who's on a mission to help women stop yo-yo dieting and lose weight for good. She wants to take her one-on-one coaching business and switch to the membership model so she can achieve true time and financial freedom in her online business. In today's podcast, Shane helps Elaine refine her message so she can attract the perfect members for her community, create a business plan to launch her membership site, and map out a plan to build her email list to 1,000 subscribers fast. You are going to love today's podcast. Enjoy the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to talk to another member of the Flip Your Life community. And our guest today coming all the way from the Sunshine State, Elaine Thompson. Elaine, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to talk to you today because we get to start, build, and grow an online business, a membership together. And anything I can do to help you, I'm going to do that. But before we get started, I want you to tell everybody who is listening today a little bit more about you, where you're from, what you do now, and what you're trying to do in your online business.
Sure. So my name is Elaine. I'm from Tampa currently, grew up, born and raised in Michigan. And what I'm doing is trying to solve a problem that I basically had for like 2+ decades that was just about being stuck in the crash diet yo-yo cycle. And I want to help primarily women just move beyond that and get into a place where their hormones are all working correctly. Everything's going on. They can just eat when they're hungry. They stop when they're full. They drop all of the dramatics and the crazy exercise programs and all of that stuff. And they just get to their natural, happy goal weight. And I want to start a membership to help them do that because I am currently being certified as a weight loss coach as well as like a life coach.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So what's your background? Do you have a background in health and fitness and nutrition? Is this something that emerged later in life that you really wanted to become a professional at? And and then did you start in the life coach world and now you're following that up with the weight coach stuff? Like how did that come about?
It actually went the opposite way. So I started off, I used to be like a group fitness instructor. So like a group kickboxing fitness instructor. And then I kind of realized that first I was just really helping fit people kind of get fitter, which didn't really ignite any passion in me. And I didn't really feel like that was my place of service. And I also realized that if you don't get the nutrition under control, you have a hard time losing the weight. And especially for people who are really focused on weight loss for health or for whatever reason, starting with nutrition and then moving into other areas later, that's really the key, the goal that is kind of unlocks all the success. And when I went deeper and deeper into that, I realized there is so much going on behind the scenes with diet culture and just with the mainstream diet mentality and all of that stuff that you really have a lot of work to do on the brain, as well as like the food that you put in your mouth is kind of like the easy part at this point.
Yeah. So there's just so much mindset stuff. It's so confusing, like, because, you turn, it's like the news and it's like, one channel's telling you this about, this story and the next one's telling you this about that. But it's the same thing with food even now. Like one person's like, eat all the meat only. And one person's like, eat all the green beans only. And one person's like, only eat potatoes. And like, it's just like, it's like everything else in our life right now. There's so much information and all of it is contradictory. Like, it's kind of like just cutting through the clutter, right? Like, that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
It's like, no,
yes.
No, seriously. Like, let's not do that.
Yes, it's so much simpler than you think. And if you can just attack the symptom of overeating and narrowing kind of on the cause of the overhunger and the over desire for food, then all you have to do is eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. And you're going to get to a weight that your body naturally wants to be at without all of the noise, like you said.
So like, is this like a personal journey kind of thing? Like you said, you struggled with this. Is this like you went through this, like, kind of, did you go through like a transformation yourself? Like, man, you were always on this diet and that diet and this diet and you wanted this and you wanted that. And like, finally you're just like, this isn't right. And you've kind of figured out a really good thing that worked for you. So you're kind of like, are you kind of like the first testimonial in your brand kind of deal?
Yes, absolutely. And I've been 50 pounds heavier than I was now. And then I used to just play a game where I would slingshot back and forth year after year. And I could gain like 30 pounds in a year and I could drop 40 pounds the next year. And I just did it over and over again. And it took up so much of my time, and I was dedicating my life to this thing, waiting for it to finally be done. And it wasn't ending. So I guess, yeah, I'm my first subject there where I was like, something has to work that isn't this, because this obviously doesn't work for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because I probably need to talk about this more. Like memberships themselves, they're like, you really do focus more on mindset than you actually of teaching the thing, because like everything has a mindset. Like, everything brings up the same mindsets. Like, do I have enough time to do this? Do I have enough money to do this? Do I have the experience to do this? Do I have enough willpower to do this? How do I manage this? Right? Like, and it's kind of like, it almost is like I think life coaches get a bad rap. Like, we're all kind of life coaches. We just really niche down, and it's like, I'm life coaching people through building a membership. I mean, it really is. Like, I'm like, you can do this. No, you're expert enough. I promise. Like, no, seriously, you got time. Like, it's like we're figuring all this out together. And like, yes, there's some tactics, and yes, there's some strategy. But having that life coach background, I think, is actually really beneficial, especially with anything in health, because it's all mindset. Everything is mindset. Do you want to stop eating the ice cream or not? I mean, that's just all mindset. It really is. On top of the addictions and things like that, you got to get the mindset piece in play first. And this says are you being certified right now in the life coach school?
Yes.
What's her name? Brooke Castillo? Brooke Castillo? Is that
Brooke Castillo, yes.
Castillo, yeah, that's how you say that. In Kentucky, it's Castillo. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll that off the tongue here in Appalachia. But Brooke was actually a member of the Flip Your Life community. Do you know that? Like, way back in the day.
I found you guys because you guys spoke to Jody Moore, and
yes,
I follow Jody Moore on Instagram. And she had mentioned that Brooke pointed her to you guys. And I was like, if Brooke says it, I'm in.
Yes. Brooke, she joined our membership, and she sent me, it was funny because she sent me a message, and her podcast is enormous, so she's really blown up. Like, but she sent me a message. She was like, hey, I just want you to know that I joined, and I want to ask you lots of questions about how you're doing all this, because I'm here to kind of peek behind the curtain and watch the magician's hands a little bit. Like, I'm sure she was imprinting some of that over. And then Jody, I don't know if she came in, maybe she came in through Brooke too, I don't know. But and then Jody came in, and then her membership just exploded. I mean, it just went bonkers, insane. And so you got a good pedigree going here, Elaine. You got to keep the streak alive. You know what I'm saying? That's got to happen here, right? All right, so let's circle back around and talk about the actual business. Okay, so one, we know this is a good niche. We know that there's so much room in this space for people, because to build a healthy living, you need 100 people to make $50 a month, to pay you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year, right? 200, you got 120. So we're in good shape. There's 200 people out there that will relate to you and like your style and like your story and like your journey. So it's not like the niche itself is a problem here. Like, you just have to find your slice of this particular pie, right? So where are you right now in the building of this thing? Or is this true beginning? Are we just starting out? Have you signed up for Kajabi and started building a website? Have you done any of those things yet? Tell everybody where you're at in your journey right now.
I have the the course laid out. I have done sort of like a dummy run. Actually, it was for the month of July in the membership portal. But I'm really sort of looking to grow my audience right now. I think that is where I should be, of course, asking you, but I should be focusing most of my attention on growing that audience, because right now there's just, me and trying to hey, who can I convince to do this? And
I know.
I would rather, I feel like I need a much bigger audience to speak to find those people that resonate with what I'm saying and want a different way, versus just, they've already got something that's working for them, or this is not a concern of theirs. I feel like I need to start building that audience that is going to resonate with me, and eventually,
So this is a little bit of a chicken and the egg thing that a lot of people go through in the beginning. Okay. Like, I've got the course laid out, right? I've got this, that, and the other. And what we have really settled on, Elaine, honestly, is build the membership. Like, it really only takes about a week. Like, you don't have to record every course that you wrote down on that piece of paper. That's not what we're talking about here, right? But like, let's say that you ran into somebody tomorrow at a coffee shop, and y'all sparked up a conversation, and someone said, hey, and you got to talking about weight loss, right? And you got to talk about your story. They really resonated with your story. And they said, wait, well, can you show me that? Like, you would have to say no, right? And you would miss the opportunity to get that first customer. And if you can find that first one, you can find 101 or 1,001, right? So we're really focused on what is the core of the process. Can you write that down in 5 to 7 30-minute categorical videos? You're going to add more later, right? I'm sure you wrote down a lot of ideas on that notebook or that piece of paper, right? So what we're looking for is, like, if you broke it up into phases, like, guys, if you just did this and you just did this and you just did that, that would start the ball rolling. And the rest we can talk about in the community. The rest we can talk about with group calls, right? But if you just had these fundamentals, basics done, right? And that usually looks like 3, 5, or 7 30-minute courses. That's usually what that is. Gosh, you can put that into a member area tomorrow and create an order form, and you've got a membership that people can join. Okay? So I really want to stress to you, we're going to talk about the other component a lot. We're going to talk about building the traffic. That's what I want to talk about. But I want to encourage you, take that list of things that you wrote down you wanted to create, put it in the forums in the Flip Your Life community, and let's talk about it a little bit with the community. And let's break it down to those simple things. Like, ours is set a goal, find your idea, create your membership product, start building audience, get into marketing. Like, that's our 5 things. We have 5 courses about that, right? Now, we've got 70 courses in it under those that we created later. But the core is what the most important thing is, right? Because you can coach people through the rest. So really, everyone listening, if you want to do this and you have your idea, the next step is to build the product, so that when that first person shows up, you can say, go here. You with me? Okay.
Yes.
Takes a week. I'm going to give you a 2-week window to make this thing, just because I'm going to expand it out, right? 1 week to figure it out, record the videos, talking head, make them better later, get it in a membership area like Kajabi or something like that, and then you're ready to go. Now you got an order form. Now you got a product. All right. What's after that? Okay. So does that sound okay? Does that sound cool?
Yes, I have most of that set up and ready to go. So that 1 week, I've got you in 1 week. That's
what I'm talking about. I launched Membership Masters in 3 days. I had an idea that I've been noodling forever, and I wanted to do a paper newsletter. Had no clue how to do it, right? And I went into a print shop one day and said, yo, bro, if I send you a PDF, can you send this to people? And he goes, I think so. I'm like, good enough. And I went out. As soon as he said, I think so, I was like, all right, we'll figure that part out in a minute. I went home, typed the first issue, signed up for a brand new Kajabi account, built a super simple website, a super simple sales page, and an order form. And I was like, okay, now I've got the first issue printed, the product's done, right? And we launched it, and we had almost 50 people sign up in the first week, right? Now I have an audience, so we'll talk about that. But it's so easy to make the product. It gives you great momentum. And once you're staring there looking at the thing that has a price tag on it, it's like, I have to find people to sell this to right now. Like, this has to happen, okay? So that's going to give you a lot of motivation. All right, so forget lead magnets. We can talk about that too. We're just going to assume that we're driving traffic to an opt-in, which we can figure out in the community, okay? So let's talk about audience building. So do you have any presence online anywhere right now about this topic? Social media, website, anything at all?
I have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. And I've been trying to start, or I have been going live occasionally. And for the past month or so, like, my Instagram posts have all been weight loss coaching driven, just trying to drop little tidbits of advice or tips or something that worked for me or something like that could sort of get people into the idea of it or make people realize what I do, that kind of thing.
So how many people follow you on Instagram right now? Doesn't matter the number, big or small, just how many people right now?
4,500. But I don't know how quality that audience is, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure how many of those people. Okay.
Yeah. Do your posts get any engagement at all? Like, do people comment? Do they like them? Do they whatever? Like,
a little bit. If it's depending on what type of post it is, it will change. But it'll get 50 likes or something like that.
Okay.
Probably so around.
Not only 50, there. Not only 4,500 people that have paid attention. We're getting about 50 people going, oh, cool. right? So like that's good. That's some attention, and people don't realize this. Like I just I'm doing a marathon batch session. I'm doing like 15 interviews in the next 3 days or something like that. And like I just got off with another Flip Your Life member who launched a ukulele teaching membership to their Facebook friends. I mean, that's all it was. And then they started running ads to it. They launched with 27 people, and then with ads, they grew it to 60 in like 3 months. Right. So like they had like, wow, like people don't realize how interconnected we are and how much how much of an audience they already have built into their life. It's just a matter of now figuring out how to get more attention from that general audience and turn them into email subscribers or turn them in to members. So that's really, really good. What about the Facebook page? Does it have followers? Or are you talking about your private account? Which one are you talking about?
I have a business one now, and that one has about 130 followers. Like I just sent out, I think last week, like an invite to my friends to look at it, and sort of started to actually try to have some steam behind it.
Okay. So here's what I think right now, and this is just me. We're just spitballing here. We're going to try some things, and traffic is a process. Okay. And the process always starts with mud on the wall. Okay. So the good thing I'm seeing now is a really clean flow from this funnel. Like, so we've got somewhere where somebody's paying attention to us somehow. That's on Instagram. Instagram seems like the best place to at least start the strategy. The cool thing about Instagram is it's connected to Facebook, and everything you share on Instagram can go to Facebook. So we can kind of get residual there. But I want you to think Instagram first. Okay. And then we have to turn, and I'm drawing little pictures here. I've got a square with an eye for Instagram, okay? And then I drew an arrow pointing to the right, and now I have a little square with a little triangle. It looks like an envelope, right? We got to figure out how to get those Instagram followers to opt in so that we can follow up with marketing, right? And then the email always links to that order form that we've already created ahead of time. See, if you don't do the product first, you got nowhere to send people. Does that make sense? All right.
Yes.
All right. So that's what we're going to do first. So we've got this. Now, I think that what we have to do is figure out how to improve. We have to get this Instagram following engaged. Like that's probably your next mission. That can happen, while you're building out your product over the next couple of weeks. It's just a matter of saying, the first 2 hours of the day are really focused on Instagram, and the rest of the day is focused on getting this product launched. So these are going to happen parallel, right? But you've got to do something to get those Instagram people to come off of that platform and hang out with you a little bit. And I think that there's a couple things you could do. Any weight loss space is usually a really good place for a challenge. Like it's like your 5-day eating challenge or your 5-day like whatever challenge, right? And then looking at the posts that people are engaging with, that might give us some clues on what we need to run a challenge about. What's your Instagram handle that you go by? I'm going to pull it up here. I want to look at it.
Elaine Thompson Coaching.
The whole word? Like
yeah, the whole thing.
Elaine Thompson Coaching. That's a long handle. All right, let's see here.
Used to be Elaine Tom.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm looking here. I don't know if can I see the post? Let's see. All right, so you've got quote cards, thought, I don't know. That's hilarious. All right, let's see. Then you got pictures of you, which is normal Instagram stuff. So you've got some good quote cards here. I don't know if it tells me how many people have actually liked it. I think only you can see that, right? But I'm looking for things that might have comments on them. So what we need to do is we need to do just a little, okay, here we go. Liked by Justin and others. If I click that, will it tell me how many? Yeah, okay, so this one's interesting. Somewhere along the way in your life, you became unwilling to take baby steps. This one got quite a few likes on it compared to other posts, like that quote, right? Success leaves clues. So what I'm thinking here is like, yeah, people are like, yeah, I did. I did stop taking baby steps. So I wonder if you had, I wonder if that's a clue. Like, wonder if we did a baby steps challenge, right? Like learn to eat correctly in Elaine Thompson's baby steps challenge to weight loss through nutrition, or I don't know. We'll figure out what it says, but that's the general theme of this. So like, as I'm looking through here, you've probably got more data on this than I do, because I can only see like, others liked this. And then I click them and it shows a bunch of people. Like this one says others too. This one had a few more likes. This one says, all right, what can I count on myself to do today? Interesting. So the posts and the quote cards that are about personal accountability, taking baby steps, like those are the things that might influence your marketing a little bit to get people to start paying attention to what your lead magnets become, or however you get them on to your email list. This one right here has a few comments too. It says, it ain't. I love it when someone posts ain't. Well done. Well done. From a northern girl from Michigan to use the word ain't properly. I'm proud of you. That's amazing. Even though it's Mark Twain, he's the one who really said it. It ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that ain't so. We're looking at some of these quotes. So like going through here, like you're already doing a great job with showing people the avatar they want to become, like, with your life posts and your things like that. You're working out, you're doing those things. You're clearly getting a good little following. They got some people paying attention and things like that. But like, how do we harvest data and turn it into information that gives us a clue about what to do next? That's what social media is for. That's all it's for. So how do we do that, right? Like, so I think maybe if we can look at it from the form of a challenge to your Instagram audience, and maybe you hype this up for a while, like, hey, you start asking questions, like forget the quote cards, same format, but you're going to post like, do you want to learn how to eat correctly? And see what that does. And then, hey, what if you could follow some baby steps to eat better and lose some weight, right? What if you could stop the yo-yo? Like what kind of accountability would you need to stop the yo-yo dieting? Like these things that are with your message, but tempered by what we're seeing here in the data, right? Of what's actually getting attention from your following. We might be able to find 60 to 100 people to join an email list right here for a challenge. We might be able to find 50 to 100 people to start not just paying attention haphazardly, but focused attention to where they're like taking that next step of clicking a link or going whatever. And then, when you do a challenge on Instagram, it's like, hey, links in the bio, all that stuff, like to get people off the platform or run ads. You can do ads to Instagram. But that could be some interesting thing, like a challenge of some kind. What would be like if you were going to coach me and I was like, if I was a woman and I came to you and said, hey, I'm sick of yo-yo dieting, and which is your number one thing. I help you stop yo-yo dieting so that I can, lose that 20 pounds for good because I've lost it before and I've gained it back. You're looking for yo-yos. Like what would be the baby steps for that? What would you tell me? If we were sitting over coffee and you had one chance to prove that you knew what I was talking, what would be the 5 things I could do over 5 days to change some habits? Like what do you think that would be?
First, I would say you would want to figure out everything you believe about what it takes to lose weight so that we would be able to sort of break some of those, because a lot of times that's what stops people from taking the next step, is that they think weight loss is hard, or they think that it's going to require all of this stuff, and they don't realize that it's just a lot of the stuff is always talking about the symptoms. And if they can just get to the point where they figure out why they're overeating and then they stop, that's where it becomes so easy, because once you're no longer overeating, there's really nothing left to change.
Okay. So what if you had, so that the flow would be basically like, like you could call it like, I don't know what the right words are, but this is usually where it starts from. So that's the first thing you would tell me if you had 30 minutes with me. Well, let's say you can do a challenge with somebody and you're like, hey, here's the 5 myths, the five beliefs about food or whatever that you have to defeat, right? And, because those things are going to be common, those beliefs. I'm sure if you coached 100 people, 80% of them would have the same 5 beliefs, right? Like, food is my enemy, or whatever. Like, I can't stop eating sugar because I need it, or I don't know, whatever they are. I'm just making stuff up here. But like, what they are. I guarantee you, if we and you were actually in this conversation and you had a pen and paper, you could write down the 5 probably most common beliefs that most of your clients or people would need to break through, right? And these come from your personal experience. These come from your 5 beliefs that you had to break through, right? So what you do is you say, hey, I'm going to do a 5-day challenge, breaking through the 5 biggest beliefs. We're going to talk about one challenge a day. And what challenges should always do, and I'm not a pro at challenges by any means, but I know how they function. The goal of a free challenge is to break down objections to buying a product. Like that, every day is not just one of those beliefs, but it's those false beliefs are actually objections to moving forward. They're excuses. They stop people from fixing their problems, right? So you got to think about it kind of from a marketer standpoint too, because the last day is a pitch. The last day is like, guys, this is the myth 1, this is myth 2, this is myth 3 and 4, and I just taught you myth 5. And you know what's cool is all 5 of these courses that I've put in my membership area help you break through those things. And then I'm going to hold you accountable. And so is the group inside of our community where we break through these things. So you should join this membership. Now you can go to the next level. Like, hey, I have a 5-month plan in there. We're going to do it 1 month at a time. Maybe month 1 is myth 1, and you're just helping them set that new habit, break through the belief and replace that belief with a habit, right? Now you've got 5 built-in months of retention based on your challenge, okay? And then you present this challenge to your audience here on Instagram. Basically for the next 3 or 4 weeks, it just takes it over. Like you start talking about these things, you start doing IG stories, your quotes become your quotes, not Mark Twain's quotes. And you say things like give me one of the big mental breakthroughs. What's the biggest false belief do you think that people have to struggle with to lose the weight and stop yo-yo dieting? What do you think?
That it's going to be hard.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So like you could say something like, getting off yo-yo diets and losing weight is not as hard as you think it is. ... And then that's your quote card, and you say Elaine Thompson, right? Which feels very narcissistic and self-gratifying when you're quoting yourself. But you know what? If you got something to say, do it, because it could help somebody, right? Like I'll quote myself saying it ain't got to be perfect until the cows come home. Okay. So like do that quote card. So that's your quote card. But then the text becomes like, man, when you start telling stories on your Instagram about you, and that engages people. So you start saying, when I was yo-yo dieting, I thought it would be hard to ever stop. I thought it would be hard to actually eat correctly and stop gaining 30 pounds 1 year and losing 40 pounds the next. I thought it'd be hard. And then I had an epiphany. I discovered some secrets, some things that made it easy. And you know what? Now I'm not yo-yo dieting, and it's easy now. And I'm just so thankful I figured those things out. And hey, if you want me to help you figure out those things, click the link in the bio, go sign up for my 5-day challenge that starts on August 25th or whatever, right? So like this becomes quote card. Find the quotes that are working, that are being quoted by other people. Just flip it and make up your own quotes, but use the same format and what's getting attention. And the quote cards now guide people somewhere. They guide them to the challenge. And it gives you an excuse to tell your story to your Instagram, not just show your pictures. See, that's what people really miss. Instagram is not about pictures. It ain't. It's about story. That's why Instagram is so popular, because people love reading other people's stories visually through their images to be drawn in. And that's why people make these big epic soliloquies that are like 48,000 words long on Instagram, because Instagram is stories. Instagram is story driven. Facebook is meme driven, and Instagram is story driven. So you've got to take what's working, shift it to focus on you and your story, and then your story shifts the focus back to the reader and then brings them over to these challenges, which is how you're going to grow your email list. Okay. And then we can start talking about email marketing after that, and we can talk about the layout of the challenge and stuff, in the community, which is usually 5 objections plus a pitch at the end. That's what a challenge does. You can draw these people over to a Facebook group to do your challenge, right? You can put the Stop Yo-Yo Dieting Facebook challenge, right? And maybe all your opt-in does is opt in on the thank you page, join the private free group. And that's what happens. And it's just a simple funnel of, I'm going to tell my story more. I'm going to focus this on my journey. I'm going to focus this on the journey that I'm going to take people on, which is helping them break the beliefs, get into my community, and actually turn their false beliefs into good habits. And now we've got flow. And once you get traffic flow into leads, into members, there's a lot more to it with onboarding and retention and things like that. But hey, that's members. You've probably got members on this following. That's a lot of people. Think of 4,500 people surrounded your house right now. How scared would you be? if you looked out the window and 4,500 humans were standing out there going, "We want Elaine. We want Elaine," right? Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I'm an introvert. That would be terrible.
That would be terrifying, right? Your energy would just be sucked like a vampire, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, but think about it. Like 4,500 people have at least said, "I'd like to hear a little more. I'd like to follow you." You know what I'm saying? So why don't we activate that and do that? Does that sound overwhelming right now, or does that sound doable for you? Do you think you could do that?
I think I can do that. I have like a fear that, I'm, it's the coaching stuff, but it's like, I have a fear that if I put in like a Facebook group or something, and then what if like nobody shows up? And then I'm like,
yeah, that'll happen.
I don't know.
That's probably going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I remember me and Jocelyn when we were in college. So we started dating in around like 1998, August of 1998, I think is when we first met. And, you know, we've been dating a couple years and, you know, and then, you know, you move out of the dorms and you start living in apartments and stuff. And we got this idea that we were going to have a New Year's party. Like it was like, I don't think it was maybe it was 2000. Was it 2000? Let's see. I think it was the year 2000. And we were like, "Oh, millennium, we're going to have the best party ever." And we like planned it all out and invited all of our friends, and nobody showed up to the party. Nobody. I was there. Jocelyn was there, but nobody else came. They must have found some more fun parties. Our party was not good enough for them. Finally, I think one of our couple friends had pity on us and came over, and they were like, "This is terrible." And then they left again. Right. So, you know, the moral of the story is, you know what, though? We still had the party. Right. And, you know, later parties were much more well attended. Right. We figured out kind of we didn't invite them in early enough. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And even though that party sucked, the next party sucked less. And then the next party was better. And then it got better and better and better. Yeah. And it's the same thing here. Like, yeah, that could happen. I mean, I hate to say it, but like nobody may sign up for your challenge and the group is crickets. So here's what I do to combat that. I just imagine they're all there. Right. Me and Jocelyn danced. Me and Jocelyn, you know, kissed at midnight. I mean, come on now. Right. So like, guess what? Like you got to do the same thing. And you just keep building and talking and imagine that everyone's there. And most likely it won't be no one. Right. Because I would bet if you even share this personally on your own Facebook page and your own people's lives, like you've got friends that would jump in there. Like you can reach out to your network and your community and people that you meet. And like, you know, people would love to hear about this. They'd love to join a free group like that. Right. So you've got your personal network plus this Instagram thing. Somebody's joining. Right. But you have to imagine you're talking to the audience that you want over and over and over again until they're there. Right. Because if you keep talking long enough, people will show up. I am living proof. Right. So yes, that is a huge fear. Coaches need coaches. That's what we're here for. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. Someone might not show up at the beginning. It's the end that we're worried about. The end game is the goal. So focus there. Okay. All right. So give me a timeline. When are you going to do your challenge? It is right now at the recording of this podcast. It is Wednesday, July 29th, 2020. So give me some. How are we going to help people get rid of the COVID-19 that they've all gained? How are we going to get them off these yo-yos? Like, when are you going to do your challenge? That's what I want to know.
Like the third week of August. Is that a good amount of time?
Sure, that sounds great.
Let people know what's up. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. We'll just say like August. Like, what's a good Monday, right? Like, let's say that you're going to run it on. Hold on a second. I'm not looking at the calendar. I don't even know what day it is today. Let's see. All right. If I go forward into August, all right. I would say your challenge has to happen from the 24th through the 28th. That way you can maybe go into September with a member or two or something. So like that gives you like next week to make your products and your courses. That gives you the next week to set things up, for your product and your website and everything. You've already built it. Then it gives you like a week to kind of hype it up and open it, right? Or maybe you market it the 24th to the 28th, and the challenge starts on the 1st, and you do like a 6-day challenge, so you can close it on a Sunday or something. Yeah. So you can start marketing it the 24th. Probably a better timeline. But now you got a deadline, and now everybody knows it because I just said it on the podcast. So got to do it now. You got no choice, right?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, good. All right. So before we close the show, we always like to ask everybody what they're going to do in the next 24 hours to take action and make this plan happen. So what's your next step? What are you going to go post in the action plans in the Flip Your Life community that you're going to work on?
Let's see. I will, in the next 24 hours, get some of the, because I already have the videos. So just start getting those uploaded now.
There you go. I love it. It's going to become real really, really fast. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Well, listen, Elaine, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I know how nervous it can be coming onto a podcast, especially when you're just starting out. And I also know that a lot of people are listening to this right now going, dang, I can do this too. And you've really helped us to inspire people to take action. And I know that you are going to do great things. So thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that wraps up my chat with Elaine Thompson. What an awesome chat we had about reaching down and finding some kind of audience to launch your membership to. A lot of you have a network right now. You've got people on your Facebook following. Maybe you don't have a business page. Maybe you don't have an Instagram account, but you've got a Facebook friend network. You've got something somewhere. You've probably got people in your life who are asking you questions right now that would join your membership. And that's really what it's all about, is getting the membership created, getting it out to the world. And even if it's one-to-one conversations, building that membership audience, building that community brick by brick so that you can get those 100 people to pay you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year and take control of your life. And just like we helped Elaine here on today's Flipped Lifestyle podcast, we would love to help you inside of the Flip Your Life community. We've got all the training courses and everything you need to find your idea. We've got trainings on how to create your product and build your membership, and that's all available to you right now for the next 30 days for free. You can get a 30-day free trial to the Flip Your Life community right now. All you have to do is go to flippedlifestyle.com/free. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free, and you can start your 30-day free trial today. Who knows, in 30 days, maybe just like Elaine, you're going to get your product built, you're going to get the word out, and you can have your membership launched before your free trial even ends. So head over to flippedlifestyle.com/free. We would love to see you inside of the Flip Your Life community. All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week. But before we close the show, we always love to end every episode of the Flip Lifestyle podcast with a verse from the Bible. Joss and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation from the Bible. And you would not believe how much of this stuff applies to business in the business world. God talked a lot about money and business. So I'm going to share some of those verses with you every single week. Today's Bible verse comes from Proverbs chapter 12, verse 25. And the Bible says, an anxious heart weighs a person down, but a kind word cheers them up. So what I picked that verse today because we wrestled with some fear today with Elaine. We wrestled with some fear, and I wanted to give you a kind word to encourage you to move forward in your online business dream. Listen, you do have God-given talents and experiences that you can use to serve other people. You just have to put them out into the world. You do have an idea inside of you. You do have the time and resources to do this, and you are expert enough to figure it out, to go out there and help other people in your area of expertise. So I hope that kind word encouraged you today. I hope that you get rid of that spirit of fear and anxiousness, and I hope you take your next steps to changing your life, to flipping your life and changing your family's future. If we can help you do it in any way, we'd love to do that. And until next time, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads, and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.